For our purposes, let's start about 60 million years ago, when the age of giant reptiles comes to an end. At that time, dinosaurs ruled. Mammals were cowering, timorous beasties that could never have challenged the superbly designed dinosaurs. And then, bang, a comet hits the Earth, the dinosaurs disappear, mammals get a chance to evolve, and among the mammals are the primates who tend to swing about in trees. Over 5 million years ago, one of these primate species, whose descendants made these footprints, one of these gets up on its hind legs. It doesn't make up its mind to go biped, but the less they hang about in trees, the more the primate's upper arms can be used to carry things. And the less they swing from trees, the longer their thumbs grow, until they become opposable, which is convenient for grabbing and manipulating. And then, about 2 million years ago, these hands turn out a miracle, an artifact, a tool, something they had fashioned themselves. And this is when we are no longer speaking of apes, but of something recognizably human, in which a larger brain and manufactured stone tools go together. Like all primates, these beings close to human form, that we call hominids, did not have very good claws compared to a tiger, didn't have very good fangs compared to a wolf. But they found that if they wanted to grasp things, hands were superior to jaws. For example, with your hands, you can take a nut, you can put it on a stone, you can hit it with another stone, you can break it. Sometimes a stone would slip and chip the other stone, and God knows how many flints were chipped and flaked by mistake until one of these hominids actually saw what he had done and realized that he could do it again, and deliberately. From that day on, primitive flint tools like these saved him from using his teeth for a lot of things. In the next 2 million years, he turned from vegetarian to carnivore, and the massive teeth made to chew on bark and grass and tubers, these teeth fined down. The powerful jaw muscles that imprisoned the skull relaxed. The brain that had been squeezed into the narrow skull began to expand. And this peculiar, thinking animal was engaged on the road of thought and of dental decay. It was only around 7000 BC that Stone Age people really learned to make fire by friction or by striking flints. Fire and thought together allowed hominids to expand into new habitats and ever more distant lands, even in times when glaciers like this one were pushing practically into the tropics, and our ancestors had to think or die. So they thought. And they quickly realized that thinking did not prevent death. Here, for the first time in the history of life, a creature makes the imaginative leap that lets it conceive its own end by looking at the end of a creature like it. To imagine my death from the death of someone like me, to feel diminished, mystified, terrified by death and by the dead. And to deal with corpses and their mystery, and the terror they generated, man develops rituals, myths, religions, into which he invests an immense amount of energy. So that for millennia, a significant portion of the little surplus of what people grew and made went into tombs and temples like Stonehenge here. I can talk about these ruins because about 100,000 years ago, something that we can loosely call language, something like language developed. A new tool that allowed people to communicate meaningfully with one another. And then, in the new Stone Age, which is the age of Stonehenge, they also begin to devise primitive but revolutionary ways of storing information outside themselves by notches and markings and drawings, which means that now human beings could convey information not by word of mouth alone, but by signs, as we do in writing.